Hey everyone, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you are new here, my name is Kim and I'm an elementary school teacher here in Yokohama, Japan. And I just wanted to say a huge thank you to those of you who supported me during my very first Vlogmas. I can't say I did Vlogmas exactly the way I wanted to, but it was worth a try, and now I know what I need to do, what I need to work on, so that next year's Vlogmas will be a zillion times better. I appreciate all the comments and all the support and all the new subscribers that came by. I really, really appreciate it because it was a challenge for me. I didn't realize what a commitment people have to make when they do daily vlogs or vlog at all, because you're basically running your day with a camera on hand and trying to capture moments that you can't always capture if you're in the process of doing something else. So I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun doing it, so let's make that a 2022 resolution to be better at putting out content for you. So in this video, I thought I would share with you 5 things that I have observed people in Japan do before the New Year's holidays. Now, once again, I would like to stress that these are my observations based on my experiences here. I'm sure a native Japanese person could tell you a lot more about the customs or the history behind some of the things that people do before the holidays. I'm just going to focus on my observations, and as I share with you, see if you can guess which ones I do, because I don't do everything that I'm going to share with you. All right, let's go. Number 1, washing cars. Every single car wash that is at a gas station or every single do-it-yourself car wash is packed with people lining up to get that last car wash in before the new year begins. If you drive by neighborhoods, you'll see people washing their cars. Getting your car washed, from what I've observed, is a big thing here in Japan. Number 2, making Nengajo. Now, a Nengajo is a postcard that is traditionally sent and arrives on New Year's Day. Let me back up. You know how in the US we send Christmas cards, and we usually make them and then send them off either to arrive before Christmas or sometimes after Christmas? Well, in Japan, the custom is to make postcards, and these postcards are not just any ordinary postcard. You can buy them at the post office, or sometimes they sell them at the grocery store, the markets, convenience stores, and they've got a special stamp and also a special lottery ticket number on them. And you can either have them pre-printed with like a greeting card, or you can make your own, either by computer or by hand, or you can go to a camera store and get a photograph of you or an event that occurred in your life, like marriage or having a baby or a family photo, and you can send it. And there's a certain day that they recommend sending it so that it will arrive on New Year's morning. So I would say that people probably from around November start getting their photographs ready, start getting their supplies ready to make their New Year's cards, and it's usually around Christmas Day, usually around the 25th, that the post office advises you to drop your cards in a special slot so that it can be delivered on time on New Year's Day. Before the New Year holidays, the post boxes, or the mailboxes, I used to call them mailboxes in the US. Now I started saying post boxes. Anyways, they have a designated slot for you to put only the New Year cards in. So one side would be for regular mail, and the other side would be just for New Year postcards. If you don't read Japanese and you're living here, you find that out quickly which side is which. Nowadays, with computers, you can easily print out your address list, make your design, print it out, and have them ready to go by the designated date. One of the special things about these postcards is that in January there is a lottery, and you save the postcards that you get, and you can look up your numbers and see if you win any prizes. You can win special postage stamps commemorating whatever year it is. 2022 is going to be the year of the tiger, so I imagine they will be some sort of tiger stamp. Or you can even sometimes win big prizes like trip vouchers or electronic goods. I'm not quite sure because I've never won anything. I have won, though, several commemorative postage stamp sets. More than one. A lot of people put a lot of time making these cards, especially children. My students make some beautiful New Year cards. The third thing that a lot of people do is put out special New Year's decorations. They usually put these items out before New Year's Day, kind of like what we do for Christmas, how we decorate and we have our tree set up. Well, it's the same for New Year's. In a Japanese home, you'll find certain items that are on display. Now, at the store, you can buy different decorations to put on your door, on your car, in your hallway. They all have a certain significance. And depending on what year it is, you can go to a shrine and actually get other decorations that have the symbol of the year. So 2022 is the year of the tiger, so a lot of people will be getting decorations that might have a tiger or a cat on it. The fourth thing that I've observed people do before the New Year's Day is, dun, 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 prepare food. If any of you have ever been to a Japanese New Year's Day meal, it's quite a treat. There's a lot of special dishes that people prepare or they buy at the supermarket, and this type of food has even a special name. It's called osechi ryori, and it is just a variety of different specialties that are eaten during the New Year's holidays. We'll go into all the foods in perhaps another video, but people spend so much time making these different dishes so that they'll be ready for New Year's morning, and people pretty much spend New Year's Day all day eating. The one food that you will eat before New Year's is the toshikoshi soba. Toshikoshi means the end of the year, and soba are the buckwheat noodles. And this is supposedly the last meal that you eat in the year that you are saying goodbye to. And sometimes people spend the whole entire December 31st doing nothing but cooking and preparing the foods. Not only is it prepared to perfection, but it's also displayed so beautifully and attractively. They have special bento boxes or special trays that you can use to display your food, and it's probably one of my favorite food holidays in Japan. The fifth and final thing that I've noticed that people in Japan do before the New Year's Day is dun, 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 cleaning. In fact, they have a word for it, osoji. O means big, and soji is cleaning. And everywhere you go, people are engaged in big cleaning. When we have our last day at school, we clean up the classrooms and our desk area and spaces to make sure that everything is clean, wiping down tabletops, making sure the dust is out of the way, clearing out garbage, organizing things. If you guys have been following me on Twitter, you know that that's what I've been busy with these past couple of days, is just giving wherever you live, whatever places you use, a thorough cleaning. If you belong in a company or you go to, say, an extracurricular school like a dance class, you'll help clean the studio. The stores, they will sell every kind of cleaning solution or device or towel or wipe for you to use during this time. So if you go to a home center stores are quite busy, but you can get some great deals on cleaning supplies, and then you give your house or car or wherever a thorough cleaning. I can't remember if we did this in the US, but in Japan, if you just drive down your street, you'll just notice that people are cleaning screens. This morning when I went to go dump my trash, I saw my neighbor and they were actually pruning their tree, just getting their whole garden area cleaned. So big cleaning can mean anywhere, outside or inside the house. Alright, that brings us to the end of today's video. Were you able to guess which things I do and which things I don't do? Alright, let me share what I do. Number one, washing my car before the end of the year. No. I don't really want to wait in any of the car wash lines, and where I live, I don't have access to a hose to wash my car. I wash my car whenever I feel like it or whenever it gets dirty. And usually I have kind of bad luck. Whenever I wash my car, the next day it rains. So no, I wash my car all the time during any time. So I don't really feel the need to wash it before the end of the year. But that's just me. You'll be able to find me. I'm probably the one in the parking lot with the dust on my car. So number two, I used to make New Year cards every year. And I used to have a lot of fun doing it. I used to like drawing whatever animal it was, or buying special stamps and stamping, doing some sort of artwork. I also invested in some cute pre-made ones, and then once I got Sinbad became the focus of my New Year cards. However, there is a custom in Japan that if someone in your family dies, you don't send or receive cards. And usually, if you do have a death in your family, you send out a postcard to let everybody know that you did have a death in your family, so please don't send cards, and you won't be sending it. It's kind of like a special greeting that you do to let everybody know why you're not sending cards. And so when my grandparents died, I didn't send cards. And then when my father died, I didn't send cards. And after that, I just realized that sometimes it's really, really hard, especially as a teacher, to get cards out in time. You guys know November and October for me are always really busy months with school and entrance exams, and I just didn't have the time to make cards anymore. The other thing is, it sounds like a bad excuse or very cliche, but things can get really expensive over the holidays, and sometimes you all know that it's really hard sometimes when you are living life single and trying to take care of a lot of things. Sometimes your finances, you're on a really tight budget, and I just didn't have the budget anymore to allow for all these extra cards. And it became really hard because in Japan, you have your close people that you want to send your cards to, but you also have people that are sort of like obligatory to send to, like your co-workers or your administrators. And all of a sudden I felt like my circle started becoming more of people that I'm sending the postcards to because it was expected to send them to, and not because they were my close friend or a family member. So it started getting really more and more difficult for me to figure out where I stood and was it really worth it. And it's kind of maybe the way I feel about a lot of celebrations. I feel like if you're doing something just to be doing it, you shouldn't be doing it, if that makes sense. It just became a really big expense at the end of the year, and it was just something that I no longer could afford to do, especially when you're teaching like 600 kids. And I'm really lucky because the school that I work at, my colleagues and I decided that for our English department, we give a little Christmas card to all our students on the last day of classes, and we tell them that's in place of a New Year's card. Because otherwise, oh gosh, I can't even tell you how much money it would cost for me to send a postcard to every single one of my students. I have never received so many cards before in my life. And I'm touched because most of these cards are all handmade, or the students, I know that they're giving it to me because I'm their teacher. But if you can imagine having to send or make over 500 postcards just to students, and that's not even counting your coworkers, your friends from the past, your coworkers from the past. It does get rather costly, but people do it. Nowadays with email and with cell phones, they have a lot of digital cards that you can give, so it does make it a little bit easier. But it's still kind of mind-blowing how much money people spend on this tradition. Number 4, preparing food. I wish I could say that I did this one, but I don't. I do prepare some New Year's foods, but most of them I buy at the supermarket pre-prepared. One of these days, I will try and make a whole osechi ryori by myself. Maybe if I have special guests visiting for the New Year's, or if I have more than just my mom and I, then perhaps I would put a little bit more time into trying to learn how to make the New Year foods. But at this point, when it's just me, then it's easier for me to just go buy it at the supermarket. If you're wondering if my mom eats the New Year foods, she doesn't. We grew up and my grandmother would prepare all the food, and it was great. Miss your grandma. I wish I would have paid more attention to how to make everything, but my mom doesn't eat it, so even when we go to the supermarket and we buy the special New Year foods, my mom doesn't buy a lot of it, and it's me just buying it pre-made, and I'm the only one that eats it. So no, I don't prepare anything. But if any of you do come during the New Year holidays to come and visit, I will challenge myself to make everything so that you can try it and say, oh, Kim, this is fabulous. Wishful thinking. All right. Number 5, you probably guessed it. I do take part in the big cleaning. I do my best. Can't always say that I get everything as clean as I would like it to, but I think it is a good habit and a good tradition to get into, to start the new year off fresh, clean out and get rid of the things that you don't need anymore. I actually got rid of like over, I don't know how many pairs of shoes, at least over 20 pairs of shoes, because I know that I probably will never wear some of the high heels that I had in my closet. And even if I do get invited or go to a very formal and dressy event, I'll probably just buy new shoes, to match with whatever dress I have. That being said, I would probably have to buy a new dress too. I did have lots of colored high heels and pumps that I wore way back in my totori days, when I was still like in my late 20s, early 30s. And now that I'm, 60, I don't know whether the heels even match with my age. I pretty much live in my sneakers or my boots, not, stiletto boots or anything, but comfy shoes. So there you have it, the 5 things that I've observed people in Japan do before the New Year holidays, as well as those things that I take part in as well. I only took part in one. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and a little glimpse into what it's like here in Japan. If you are interested in learning more about Japan or seeing parts of Japan or what it's like to teach here in Japan, please consider subscribing. If there are things that you do before the New Year holidays, go ahead and share them in the comments below. I think in my next video, I'm going to share with you my favorite New Year's Eve that I had in Japan. And I'll give you a hint. It had nothing to do with alcohol or other things that you might do on New Year's Eve. A wink, wink. But it's a New Year's Eve that I will always remember and kind of chuckle about. All right. Until then, take care. Thanks again for being such a great community and so supportive. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then.